Okay, so I'm going to start talking about the applications of trigonometric functions. So here are some steps that you need to apply. Actually, it's just basically the same with the steps in finding the maximum and minimum sa and time rates also sa applications, okay, sa trigonometric functions. But this time, we are going to relate it sa trigonometric functions. As you can see, there are some applications include kaning population of a colony, asa man ni siya. Uh, okay, so you can also have this an application sa pagpangita sa shape, finding the shape of a rectangle, and of course sa daily lives na to makita, you can use it as an application sa ladders, even sa buildings, sa house, anything that uses trigonometry will use the application. Okay, so how to solve this? Okay, first is to find f prime of x. So you are going to derive the function given. Okay, but if you have not yet, if you have no equations yet given, so you are to create, diba? Same sa what we did na to sa trigonometric, sa maximum and minimum sa time rate sa previous na lessons. Okay, just the same, you create an application through finding the surface area. It might be surface area, it might be the volume. Okay. But, kani siya, it just, murag nadugangan lang siya angles. Okay, that's why it's trigonometric functions. Okay, so solve for x when f prime of x is 0. So you also equate it to 0. Apply the first derivative test. Okay, if a point is either maximum or minimum, or if it's time rates, then okay, let's have that example later. For step 4, you substitute the appropriate value of x into the original equation. So let's say, for example, you have this problem. Okay, actually, sana all na inani perminti ang given. Okay, the population of a colony of ants rises and falls according to the breeding season. The population can be modeled by the equation P of t. So this one will be easier na since the equation is already given. You have 100 sine pi t, and that's pi, okay, divided over 4 plus 4,000, where t is the number of months since the beginning of the year. Now, you just need to find the first time at which the population is the greatest. Okay, so this is an application of maximum and minimum of a trigonometric function. So population, okay, which population is greatest? So once again, let's go to the solution. So you're just going to derive this equation here. Uy, okay, baga lagi no? Paano panipis ni? Okay, so you just derive that equation and you will arrive at this equation. So p prime of t, that will be equal to, what's the derivative of sine pi t over 4? That's, di ba? Ano siya, no? P of t equals 100 sine pi over 4 t. Okay. So derive it with respect to t. So that would just be equal to 100. Then derivative of sine is cosine. Then copy the angle, which is pi t over 4. But we still have to derive pi t over 4 with respect to t. So that is pi over 4. Okay? Now equate it to 0. Of course, the derivative of 4,000 is 0. So yeah, that's it. And equate it to 0. And then you will now have 25 pi over 4 cosine pi t over 4 is equal to 0. Simplify. So you will arrive at this answer right here. Oh, sorry. So you have this time here. So pi t over 4 is equal to pi over 2, no? So 3 pi over 2. So you have time is equal to 2, 6, 10. So the maximum population first occurs after 2 months. Since kani man siyang naguna, okay? Since kana siya ang naguna. Okay, so most of you might get confused. Asa gikuha ang ko answer 2, 6, 10. All right. So you just kani siya, you just simply arc sign, use arc sign here. Okay, ibalit man nimo si ano. But this is not an inverse trigonometric, okay, since wala ta nag-derive using an inverse trigonometric function. So ano na siya, cosine -1 of 0. Alright, remember to put your calculators on rad, okay, to get the answer. Now for letter B, find the maximum population. So to find the maximum population, you just go back to the original equation, which is this one plus 4,000. Okay, so 100 sine pi, your t is, di ba, nag-maximum siya after 2 months. So you use t as 2, alright? Divided by 4, then plus 4,000. So you will have your answer as 4,100. So the maximum population will be 4,100. Okay? Alright, for the other example, still this is a maximum and minimum problem. So you find the shape of the rectangle of a maximum perimeter inside a circle. So you're not sure yet. Na daw kay circle. Na kay circle. Okay. Ooh, perfect circle. And then you're going to find the shape of the rectangle of a maximum perimeter. Unsa ang maximum perimeter? No, inscribed daw in a circle. So it will look uy. Sorry, it should have a curve para so ana siya. So maximum perimeter, no? Okay, to have a very good drawing, let's go here para mas masabtan. Okay, so you are going to find the perimeter of a rectangle since the question here is uh, rectangle of maximum perimeter inscribed in a circle. So unsa na shape ang makabuo og maximum na perimeter? So, what is the perimeter of a rectangle? Okay, so perimeter of a rectangle is just 2L plus 2W. So, but here, ang gigamit niya na notation is X. Okay, it's not W, it's not L, it's X and Y. So, 2L or 2X, because, di ba, perimeter is just to add all sides. So, 2 ka X man pud ni, then Y ni siya, then Y pud ni siya. Okay, so 2X plus 2W, or X, unsa man pagkuha sa X. Okay, so X here, you can see here an angle. Okay, if you draw a triangle, remember in your trigonometry. So this is X, this is Y, right? So to find X, how are you going to find X? So to find X, you use the notation SOHCAHTOA, no? SOHCAHTOA. So if you say sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, which is D, right? So that's D. So therefore, you can find Y if you use sine. If you use cos, so that's adjacent, right? Adjacent over hypotenuse is equal to adjacent, which is, what's adjacent nato here is, adjacent sa angle is X over D. So you can have X and Y. So see X, you have D cos sine theta, see Y D sine theta. Now going back to the solution. Okay, so you simply substitute X and Y, the perimeter of rectangle, and then you are going to derive. Okay, so take D as constant here. What's the derivative of cos? That's negative sine. That's why I negative here. And then what's the derivative of sine? That's positive cosine. Okay, is equal to 0. Now, since if you're going to divide both sides by 2D, so ma-0 lang yapon ang right side, right? If you divide both sides by 2, sige, para mas masabtan. I-divide mo siya og 1 over 2D. So, pag i-divide mo siya by 1 over 2D, eliminate ni siya. 1 over 2D times 0 is still 0. So, what's left here is the negative sine theta plus cosine theta is equal to 0, or sine theta is equal to cosine theta. Okay? So what's next here is if i-divide nato siya both sides by cosine theta. So divide both sides by cosine theta, kani siya sine over cos which is tan. Kani siya cos over cos is 1. So you will have an angle which is 45 degrees. Okay? So 45 degrees ni siya. So you are going to simply substitute 45 degrees here sa x, balik. So that's d cosine 45 and d sine 45. So if you use calculator, guys, you will get 0.0707d sa x, and cy is also d 0.70d. Okay, notice that both of them are equal, which means that x is equal to y. So the shape of what we are looking for is just a square. Okay, so that's the answer. Okay, now for our next example. So a ladder 15 feet long. This one is a time rate application. Because ma-determine natin if it's a time rate because of this right here, a word. That's 2 feet per second. So a ladder 15 feet long leans against a vertical wall if the top slides down. So nado kay ladder, na ladder daw na siya. So leans a vertical wall. Ito man ang vertical. Ana man ang vertical, di ba? Mo na siyang wall. So mo na siyang ladder. Okay, if the top slides down, so kanino siya, kaning ladder na ni mo slide siya pababa. So meaning maana na siya, no? Maslide man siya. So munaog ang ladder, munaog. How fast is the angle of elevation of the ladder decreasing when the lower end is 12 feet from the wall? Okay, so 12 feet from the wall. So you have this tawag dito, figure. Yes, you have this figure here. This is 15, right? This is the ladder which is given sa problem. Can we go back to the problem? So, many. Zoom out. Okay. And then, para makita. There you go. So, okay. Ladder is 15, right? We draw it correctly. This is the wall. And then, nag-slide ang ladder down in 2 feet per second. So, if it slides down, obviously, that's negative, right? It slides down, man. Okay. All right. So let's go back. When the lower end is 12 feet from the wall, so we will go there later. But for now, we are going to make an equation first. So theta is equal to, yan ang magamit tag sine. Okay, so we are going to use sine here. So sine theta is equal to so katoa. So, opposite is y, 15c, hypotenuse. If we are going to use cosine, adjacent, so dili kana atong ginapangita, right? Angle of elevation, how fast? Okay, so later on we will know unsa di atong ginapangita diri. Ang angle of elevation, unsa din ang angle of elevation? Okay? Angle of elevation sa ladder. Sige, later on ma-explain ako na later. So, let's first answer. So, sine theta is equal to y over 15. So, since this is arc sine, so pag ibalin mo si sine sa picas, you will now have this one. So, arc sine y over 15. And to derive that problem, we have this. So, diba, that's 15. Okay. It's just the same, okay? Basig malibog mo ba? It's just the same sa inana, ha? It's just the same there. So, gibutang lang yan dy over dt here because 15 will just be 15 over this one, which is just be multiplied by dy over dt. So, this is the derivative of arc sine y over 15. Okay, so diri magamit anong when x is equal to 12. Okay, so when x is equal to 12, kung 12 daw ang lower end, okay, when the lower end is 12 feet from the wall, diri, oh sorry, kung diri daw 12, unsa ang y? Okay, unsa ang y? So the y here is kaning katas on sa wall. Okay, so you just sorry, you just have the y is equal to the square root of 15 squared minus 12 squared. So your y is just 9. How's that nagikuha? That's in the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so now going back, so d theta over dt is equal to negative 2. Negative 2 is your dy over dt, right? So nga nung si dy over dt si negative 2. Okay, so notice sa problem, how the top slides down at 2 feet per second. Okay, 2 feet per second ang pag-slide niya pababa. So obviously that's uh, uh, y with respect to t. Anong y with respect to t? Ano man? Kay, yeah, that's y with respect to t because once again, ang ladder ni mo, mag-move siya pababa. Mag-move siya no. Move. So maabot na siya diri kutahay. Okay? So unsa kapaspason ang pag-slide down niya. So mana siya si 2 feet per second. Okay, that mo na siyang naa siya sa y. I hope you understood that. I'm really bad with expressing applications. So this one, that's negative 2 over 15 square root of 1 minus y. We already have the y value, which is 9. Okay, and then we have, if we substitute all those using our calculator, you will have this as your answer. So that is d theta over dt, which is negative 1 over 6 rad per second. So take note that negative there is, it indicates that the angle is decreasing. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask me sa forum. Maybe wala ba siya natarong explain, or actually I got wrong. Most of you actually passed sa exam, and wala ako nag-regret na I gave you supplementary exams. Yeah, I was just sad sa mga ubang tao na medyo low ilang score, maybe because yeah, sa akong part siguro wala kay ko tulo, and because of this online class thing that you have to learn with yourselves, because tungod siguro sa self-integrated manual, I don't know what happened, but I hope all of you guys can pass. All right, so wait for my another video that includes the topic inverse trigonometric functions. Okay.